So how do you grow an agency to mid six figures in less than 2 years? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this interview with Daryl Rosser. And some of you may have watched his videos on YouTube already, but today we'll be talking about how to hire for an agency, how to scale your sales, and how to grow fast as an agency so that you can increase your revenue. Let's jump in. Hey, Daryl, how's it going?
Hey man, thanks for having me.
We were just talking about those awkward intros on the interviews.
Yeah, it's funny how like you just chatting away, like, oh, everything's so cool. You hit record and it's like, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you?
Can you
Just
imagine,
immediately just adds a barrier to it.
can you imagine if I just started hitting record and then my accent and everything just started changing instantly?
That you should do that. That'd be pretty good. I think you'd probably just be just a perfect intro that's very different to every show.
Yeah, maybe next time I'll just record like a YouTube video and it'll be me with an American accent.
Dude, my accent's screwed up, right? Have you noticed? Like, I'm from the UK as well, and it's completely screwed up for the past few years of, living abroad and all.
That's crazy because I would say you sound Australian.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's a bit of everything. If I go home, it comes back a little bit, but it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so I think I had an interview the other week that was posted on YouTube, and someone commented like, your vowels ain't all over the place. Like he said, like sometimes you sound like you're from London and sometimes you sound from Manchester. It's just like totally mixed. How did you first get into SEO? You run your own agency now, right?
Yeah, so I started kind of the same way. I've been doing marketing stuff since I was like 15 years old or something, like just little things, tinkering, trying to make some money and stuff like that. And I did marketing pretty well, affiliate marketing stuff before that. How I got into SEO was, the long story short is I made a bunch of money affiliate marketing stuff, lost all that money through some nefarious sort of deals, started up again, was trying to make money and just like selling like local stuff. So like local businesses, cool, I'll design your site. Yeah, I'll do your ads or whatever. Sure. Like I just needed some money, paid the bills, whatever. And one of those guys asked for SEO. I didn't particularly know what SEO was at the time, to be honest. I mean, I knew what it stood for, but I didn't particularly know how to do it. Yeah. So I'm like showing him Google Ads results. Like, yeah, so here's the ads. There's some examples I've done before with ads. Below this is the organic, and we'll help with that too. I was like trying to show him like examples of ads because I didn't have any examples for SEO. Signed this guy up. It was 500 quid a month, something like that. This is 2013. And I bought a course the next day, like how to do SEO, from Viper Chill, Glenn Alsop. And that's where it went.
So you're just like, right, I'll figure it out myself. Get a quick course.
Yeah, I mean, I had a background in that sort of stuff anyway, kind of marketing stuff and technical sort of things anyway. So I figured I could figure it out. And I probably got quite lucky because back in 2013, you could rank significantly faster than you can today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
true.
It worked out well. Whereas today is like, I'm just going to land a client today and figure out afterwards. I think by the time I figured it out, it'd be too long to actually get results as well.
You'd be jumping right in at the deep end, wouldn't you, at that point?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's it. Just, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what sort of nefarious deals?
No, it's just, I always talk about this in podcasts and I don't know why it just happens to come up because people ask how I started. It's like, normally I would never even mention any of this stuff. But yeah, I got started in like very spammy sort of businesses. So like we checked out Facebook 2010, 2011. It was like the spammiest crap you'd ever see. Like you join an app and automatically you message all your friends and post all stuff and all this sort of dodgy sort of stuff. I had a business doing that. I was a spammer essentially.
That's a good way to start. I mean, like there's kind of like particularly between Blackout SEO, there's like a blurred border, right, between spamming and SEO, particularly like a lot of people used to build links with comments or GSA and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess you can kind of twist it in a way that like my job has always been kind of manipulating algorithms before it was like social media algorithms. Same kind of thing, I guess. Completely different approach, obviously. But anyway,
Yeah.
while I was doing that, I had a business partner, like a mentor that I kind of looked up to. He kind of introduced me to affiliate marketing. He invested in my company, helped me get started at some point. Long story short, didn't particularly work out in the end. We made a lot of money. He stole it all, fell out, blah, 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 blah,
Wow.
blah. Had to start over.
That's crazy. Would you, I mean, do you avoid like partnerships these days? Or you still do partnerships
No,
and that sort of thing?
I literally have other ones right now.
Oh.
I was, a little bit more cautious of doing it correctly and setting it all up correctly. But no, I don't think that's a reflection on bad partnerships. It's just a reflection on partnerships being bad. Sorry, it's just a reflection on that specific partnership being bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't let it stop you from doing future partnerships, right?
Yeah, it still messes you up a little bit, I guess, though, for a while.
Yeah, of course, of course. So you run a Shopify agency now, right?
Yes, that's my main focus these days.
And you're focused on like scaling it and growing it and client acquisition, that sort of thing.
Yeah, my job these days is like business development, so getting clients in the door, and then just overall management stuff, I guess. I have a team in place to do a lot of the kind of work. So yeah, I kind of strategize kind of like our overall processes, not the specific clients, and then just management and bringing in clients. Probably 90% is just, bringing new clients, doing the sales calls and stuff like that is still on me at this point.
That's interesting. Are you planning to like outsource it or?
Yeah, definitely. But probably not for a while. Like I'm pretty capable of doing it at this point. It's not that many calls because I'm also picky. So like if someone books a call, I don't know if this is rude or not. Tell me if this is rude. So someone will book a
Go
call.
ahead then.
And I'll ask them like what their budget is, or I'll look at the site and stuff like that. And I'll probably just cancel half the calls that come in. Like they book on Calendly, I just send them back saying, like, don't think you're really the best fit for what we do right now. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this. And I just cancel like half the calls we get because I just don't want to do them if they're not fit.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair because if you get prepared for a sales call, you're wasting your time. If they're like making time to jump on that call, you're wasting their time. Then it's cancelled.
Yeah, it's mutual. Right?
Yeah, yeah. I know. For our agency, we have an application form before clients jump on, and we have like certain criteria we want them to hit. Because that's the thing. If they're below a certain threshold, you can't really help them, right?
There's literally nothing you can do. I mean, some of them are also like, I don't think it's their fault, which is kind of ill-informed, but it's like, we only want to spend $1,000 a month. It's like, but you're an e-commerce business. You want to play on a national level and you want to invest $1,000 a month. Like, you're not going to do anything with that. Like, you may as well just like burn the $1,000. It's the same thing that you're going to do with that money.
Yeah, because particularly for e-commerce where, a lot of that is they need paid ads, right? As well. They need to spend money, bring leads in.
Yeah. I mean, we don't do any of that stuff with pure SEO, but yeah, they probably should be doing it. And in many cases, like, for us, the best clients will be already doing it.
Yeah, that's it. Have you ever had someone before you used to cancel them who turns up and they're like, right, I want to spend $10 on ads, $10 on SEO, per month. What can you do for me?
I don't think I've ever had that bad because I've always been kind of fussy already. I think a couple have kind of sneaked in now. They're like, oh, I only thought this would be like $1,000 or $2,000 like one time. Didn't realize how the arrangement worked at all.
Yeah.
And obviously that I was just like, okay, I need to get extremely strict on this criteria. But what I do, nowadays, I don't have an application form like you. I just push everything through to like a Calendly link or something. But on it, I am asking like kind of like, hey, can you invest at least, like, do you have the budget to invest at least like $2,500 a month? And if they say no, then I'm just going to cancel it. And if they say maybe, then I might even still cancel it if I look at the site and I don't think it's going to work for them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking, what sort of like revenue level have you grown your agency to?
So we started a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So we're still in like mid 6-figure level. Most of that time so far has been team building, getting the right people in place. So I don't need to do everything.
Yeah. Building it out, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to a position now where like I just don't have to that much, which is nice. So it's just cool. Now we can actually focus on landed clients and actually pushing out, which is where my time goes now, but even that's not particularly that time consuming. But I don't know for you, because you have an agency too, right? So that getting that team in place was a pain in the ass. Like it literally took me like a year to get people in place where I can just like, cool, here's a client, go, and they can do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think hiring a team is one of the biggest things most agency owners procrastinate on, because it's particularly if you've never really done it before. I know you've got quite a lot of experience with agencies, but like some entrepreneurs I speak to or some agency owners, they have no idea where to get started, and they're terrified of like giving it to someone who messes everything up. So yeah, I think
and me too before, to be fair.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it takes time, doesn't it? I remember like the first time I hired a VA, it felt like a massive deal. Like there was so much risk and responsibility going on. And then you look back and you think that was the best move and one of the easiest moves I ever made. Just hiring someone, teaching them how to do something, and then maybe you
I do it with
invest in
everything, man. I have like a local assistant here in Vietnam that I'm just like, can you like book me tables? Like, hey, I need you to go to the shop and pick me some stuff up and bring it by. Like, I have like everything. Like, I just don't do stuff myself.
That's smart, man. That's the best way. Like, for example, these plants today, I just got them literally today from a assistant that I hired online, just to like, you know, order them in Thai, because I'm in Thailand right now. Order them in Thai, get them delivered.
Exactly.
And then
it's awesome, right? I think it's so cool that we can do this. Yeah.
Can you imagine like when you were if you had a business in the 90s, right? We're both from the UK. The costs would be insane, wouldn't they? You've got like all the tax on your business, the cost of labor, nothing as convenient as it is right now compared to today. It's like, it would be almost impossible to run an agency.
Yeah. I mean, I know I grew up in family businesses. So my parents run kind of small local businesses.
Yeah.
So I saw this stuff firsthand, right? Is that my weekends when I was a teenager was like going and delivering flyers to people's doors to promote my parents' business, because that was how they like kind of marketed their business. And they didn't have employees or anything, because I mean, they're a small business. How can they afford to go and pay someone, I don't know, 20, 30 grand a year, whatever it costs to hire someone full time to do that? Like it was just really just kind of hustling together. And then also when you start off, like you have expenses. So you need like a physical location. Probably they had some sort of manufacturing place to kind of make stuff. They had to have a like van to go out and visit customers. Like you don't want to turn up in your crappy old car. You get like a professional van. That's like 15 grand to go to invest in that. Versus like ours was like, you know, $10, got my domain, set up the site for $20 hosting, cool, we're live.
Yeah, we're good to go now. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Especially if you focus on like the 80-20 of things, you could set up a business so fast, couldn't you? Like you say, if you don't worry. I mean, a lot of people, they sort of waste time on the branding or the design or getting the perfect logo. But actually, if you were to launch an agency and you did all the high priority things quickly, like sales, generating clients, keeping them happy.
Yeah, I mean, I did it on YouTube. I documented when I started this agency, and it grew a lot faster when I started because I didn't build a team. So when we started off, we hit the first 100 grand in contracts, not like sales, but not revenue, obviously, just 12 more contracts and everything on ecom. And I can't remember what it was. It was like 2 or 3 months. And I was like, here's how we do it from scratch. We're just going to set up, we didn't even set up a site. I don't think we even finished the site, or we set up like a one page or some shit like that. Yeah. And then we just sent some cold emails and just like, here's how we're doing it. And I just showed how we did that, which is send a bunch of emails. So obviously the problem with that is I did that. It's like, oh shit, now I need to go build a team to actually do all this work. And that slowed us down dramatically. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, how do you go about hiring an agency? I mean, sorry, hiring people for your team? Like, do you use Upwork or what sort of channels?
So I've surprisingly had success with Upwork, but I think it's absolutely awful. I mean, it's amazing for like a short-term contractor for something. So we just found a developer you can work with on there for things here and there. Awesome. But typically, so I'm hiring my guys full-time so they can just dedicate their time to my projects.
Yeah.
And Upwork is really, 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 really difficult to hire SEOs. I don't know if you have the same experience. It's very difficult.
Absolutely. We found the same problem. Like, we're trying to hire for one of our websites at the minute, and it just seemed like it's just for, no offense to anyone on there, because I'm sure there's some really amazing SEOs too. But most of the sort of SEOs and website managers we found don't really have that much experience, or kind of exaggerating what they can do. and it's very hard to find like the diamond in the rough.
Yeah. And then the rest of them are just like copy and pasted, apply to like 500 different jobs. And like listing sites is like, how does this show that like is like we help these sites and just a list of sites? Like I don't have any idea if that's actually true. Like you could just list a bunch of sites.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, we help Google.com. It's like it just lists a bunch of sites. I have no idea what they are or what you did or anything. It doesn't help me at all. So yeah, I did get one guy off Upwork though that's really, really good. And I just caught him at that right time. Like he just signed up to Upwork like 2 weeks before. And he happened to apply to the position and he turned out to be really, really good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, we've had like account managers and also like our ops manager originally came from Upwork as well. So there are some really
awesome.
good people on there.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's a percentage game. You know, you might get like 100 applicants and one of them is a right fit. One of them has the right experience to do the job.
Didn't answer it all the way, which is so we use Upwork, we use jobrack.eu, which is pretty awesome for Eastern Europeans. Very, very, very good people on that. If you're in communities and stuff like that, people that are in the SEO groups and communities have interest in SEO. So, I mean, there's a good chance some of those guys could be good hires as well.
There are some really good people on there.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's a percentage game. You know, you might get like 100 applicants and one of them is a right fit. One of them has the right experience to do the job.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like, what's your process for hiring? Like, I don't know if I read a book recently called The Who, where they talk about, you know, the 4 stages where you do like 3 different levels of interviews, get some references, filter it down, but it is really time consuming at the same time. Like, how do you typically approach hiring?
So I guess it depends. I'm generally quite lazy about this stuff, and it just applies to everything. So what I tend to want to do is test them with something minimal just to see if they have some short listening ability, basically. So like, you know, here's a page, what would you want to do to the page? Or write a content brief, right? And here's the idea we want. Here's the keywords, write me a content brief and tell me, and so we can just see it. I mean, that allows us to very quickly shortlist people. And a lot of times you can kind of just pick out the best person purely from just like one piece of like 10, 20-minute piece of work, but you can very quickly tell their ability when they're doing it, especially when it's open-ended. It's like create a content brief or tell me what to do on this page. Like you're not giving them direction. You're just seeing what they come up with and how they think. Gives a lot. After that, probably pushing them onto an interview. I've started asking my project manager to do a lot more of those for me today, rather than me having to do it personally. And then dependent on the situation, sometimes I'll just get my project managers to hire them directly. If they're like, this person's awesome, let's do it, then it's like, cool, just hire them. If they want me to give it a second interview, just double check, then I can also do that as well. But relatively simple. And this probably changes like half the time as well. That's roughly how it works. If in certain situations, someone just seems really awesome, it's like, oh, screw it, just throw them on a couple week paid trial and just see how it goes. But it's basically that some of it is try them, then interview them, then hire them.
Give them a go, see how they do, and then I think that's good because they've got to be used to you like delegating the responsibility as well, right? Like you can't give them an SOP and a breakdown of the task every single time. It's better to say, right, here's a topic for a content brief. You go ahead and just figure it out. And
this is the biggest change I've made in kind of how I hire. And it's not really, the process is the same. It's just who I hire. Before I thought I was a genius and I was like, I'm too damn smart and I need to design everything. I need to come up with these processes. You are, man. and then people will follow my process because obviously I'm going to create the best process. I'm kidding a little bit. But that's how I did it anyway. And I realized this is really, really dumb because what's actually way more effective and way easier. And what I do now is I'll just hire like a content marketing person and I'll be like, cool. These clients need content ideas and content briefs. Do it however you want. And they know how to do it. And I might add a little direction or I might like, here's what I think a little bit, but I just like, they own the process. It's their thing. They know how to do it already. They've already done it before in their past agencies and work. And I just kind of let them do it. And it means we can like hire someone and within a couple of weeks that already just jumped in and just took over it, because I'm not forcing my specific processes on them or my specific documents on them or anything like that. It's like, here's how we do it before. If you want to do something different, I don't really care. All I care about is the outcome. And I need these content proofs done so you can publish content for the client.
Yeah, it's all about the result, right? And give them the freedom
Exactly.
to go and do it.
Yeah, exactly. So same thing, even like on page SEO is like, we need these pages optimized. We normally use Surfer to have audit the pages. Here's access and stuff like that. Take a look at our process, tweak it however you want. But again, we need you to go through these pages and pick out which pages to optimize and tell us what to do on the pages, how to implement that. But just giving them like a lot more leeway just made it so much easier, significantly.
I think it's more motivating for them as well, because then they get the freedom to do the job how they want. They can take some ownership over it. And it's just like, right, I've got control over this process, how I do it, and all I focus on is the result.
Yeah, is exactly that. And the other thing is they ask you less questions and they bother you less. Because I would also have it before. They like working on something. It's like, you know the answer to this, but they're asking me because my document, it's my process. But when I give it to them and let them kind of own the whole thing, they're not going to ask me how to do that, because like they designed this. Like it's their process.
That's a very
so
good
it makes
point,
management, makes everything much, much easier.
So when it comes to landing clients for your agency, what sort of strategies do you focus on?
We do two things, basically: cold email and content. So content side is on the blog. And the reason being is it's what we're good at. Like we sell that as an SEO agency. We sell content marketing. So, I mean, we know how to do it. And also because it's just easier. I don't like social media. I've done some YouTube stuff before. It's fun, but I don't like the need to have to constantly do it. It's like, I feel like if I'm on YouTube, I should be publishing a video at least once a week. If I'm doing any less than that, I'm slacking. Bear in mind, I haven't published any 4 months, but that's exactly the point, is I just don't feel like doing it all the time. I've done that stuff before. It's like, I just don't want to do it. Whereas a blog, I can just create content around some Shopify stuff, Shopify SEO, whatever. We can rank for some less competitive terms. It brings in some traffic. We get calls and leads out of it. And I don't really have to do that much. It just kind of sits there. We can create more content whenever we want. That works pretty well. But our main source is definitely cold email. And it just makes sense to me. I don't know why people, I don't know. There's always like articles like, I guess the same thing, right? SEO is dead and cold email is dead. And people are like, but it just makes sense, right? If you want to get clients, how about you just identify some clients that you like? Then you just send them an email, and people use email, and then you jump on the phone with them if you do a good job of that email, and you sell them. Like, it's just a simple way to do things, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, honestly, I will say as a counter to that, it's something that we've tried a lot and we've landed a few clients here and there from cold email, but we've not really got the results that we wanted.
Probably, yeah, it can be challenging as well, for sure.
I guess it's a lot of like tweaking and testing, and you have to find the right approach, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a bunch of tweaking and stuff like that. So we have campaigns that just sometimes work really, really well, and in others that kind of flop. And it comes down to like a lot of factors, right? This is the problem I have when people say it doesn't work. And this could be SEO, this could be LinkedIn, this could be anything, right?
Yeah,
it's like, we bought links, it doesn't work. It's like, yeah, but like, what didn't work? Like, did you buy crappy links? Did you like point them to the wrong pages? Like, what did you do? Like, so you can just break it down. Same with cold email. It's like, so you could start at the first level. It's going to be like, who did you actually email? Because I've had this campaigns before where it's like, it didn't actually work that well. And we're looking at it, it's like, because most of the sites aren't really best fit. Especially when we're broad, like Shopify, there's 3.7 million or something in Shopify stores. Most of them aren't going to pay us for SEO. I know this because we buy the lists. That's why we know how many sites there are. And then on top of that, so once you have your targeting down, it's obviously, you could say, your subject line or first line or whatever gets to open it. Generally speaking, that's pretty easy. It doesn't really make that much difference, but it could be something. And then it could be the messaging, like, do you actually get a reply? And if you get a reply, what do you do next? You send them a page, you send them a document, you send them to a call, whatever. And then, all the way through it, it's like so many different steps to it that you can be going wrong. So I think the question was about how much work it is. There's definitely tinkering and stuff to get it working, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of tweaking and testing. I think that's the thing. Like, for us, we know it works. We know it's the right channel. It's just our approach that needs to change.
And what do you do? It's supposed to be, you want to be interviewed, but I'm curious anyway.
What, when it comes to cold email or?
No, getting clients. What if cold email isn't big for you? What is your main acquisition channel?
So our main acquisition channels are, so originally I started on Upwork.
Cool.
So,
okay.
So that was my first channel for landing clients. So, and even to this day, we still land clients from there. The only problem with Upwork is it's not that scalable. So it's very good for landing clients. There are high paying clients on there. The only problem is if you want to scale that to say multiple 7 figures, it's really tough because you hit a limit, you hit a wall in terms of the number of clients you can reach out to. So then we also do YouTube. And that's a really powerful channel for getting clients, I would say, because as you know already from doing your own videos, it already positions your authority, your expertise, and people feel like they're getting to know you. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We get a lot of referrals. We have a network of people who refer clients to us as well. So we've built like relationships with influencers who know us and recommend us.
Smart. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And we have a lot of old clients who come back to us as well. So sometimes they might have stopped link building with us a couple of years ago, and then they've come back now. So that's pretty cool as well. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. And then also Facebook ads. We do decently with Facebook ads. Get a lot of calls booked in.
I don't do any. I probably should do it. I just haven't got around to it.
The way that people I've worked with who recommended Facebook ads explained it was like, it's really the biggest barrier between scaling sales and not. Because if you figure out Facebook ads or you figure out YouTube or Google ads, then all of a sudden, as long as it's profitable, you can just scale up the spend.
For sure.
And reach as many clients as you need to. So it's really powerful in that respect because you can go from like a really quiet week in sales and maybe not that many bookings to filling out the whole calendar and hiring a sales team around that because you can just get as many clients as you need to.
Yeah, definitely. I get it. I just haven't. Done it yet.
I mean, the other thing I would say as well is like, you need to have really good systems for Facebook ads because like if you want that to convert, it's not just about setting up an ad, finding the right audience and having really good copy. Like
for sure.
I've tested that. We've wasted thousands trying to figure this out. And then, you need to have good systems in terms of your marketing, your authority, your expertise. It takes a long time to crack the code on it. So it's well worth it once you figure it out. But if it takes you 6-12 months, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's why I haven't bothered with it because I kind of anticipated it because I've done quite a bit in Facebook ads for other stuff before. And it's like, I don't really want to spend 3 to 6 months figuring it out, at least at this point, especially when I just feel there's enough potential in what we're already doing we can just ramp up, do more emails and we can ramp up and do more content and things like that. Yeah.
I mean, if you've already cracked the code on that, then it's just a case of like, right, let's send more emails, right?
Yeah, exactly. We've doubled our amount of cold email accounts. We have like 10 accounts now we can send cold emails off of. Just why not?
Yeah. Why not? Why not scale up? That's awesome. What link building strategies would you recommend in 2022?
So, I mean, it depends on the business, right? So we typically do very, very simple stuff because we're an agency and most of our results come from, in our cases, from technical and on-page because we can clean up a bunch of technical issues, sort out all the on-page and, depending on where the site's at, as to how much scale that stands for, but you can grow traffic typically on a very low end, like 30% up to like hundreds of percent very easily just from that alone in most cases. So we don't do a massive amount of link building. There's only just a little bit extra just to support those efforts, basically. Depending on the client budget, some of them allow us to do more, some less, whatever. So all we do as an agency, which isn't particularly if I was going to go all in on link building, isn't particularly what I do. But we just do like guest posting and like link inserts and basic sort of stuff like that because it just works and it's easy and it's scalable enough that we don't need to build like an entire link building team. We can just have, I think we have 2 people that focus on links and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess it's easy to white label as well, right? We work with a lot of SEO agencies who just give us the work and then take a margin in between.
Yeah, yeah, we don't do that because I mean, we'll never work with you, but typically most people that do it suck and the quality sucks. So we just did it ourselves and it's easier and better quality. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of our bigger clients too, are we still here? Because it's completely frozen on my side.
Yeah,
Okay, we're
it's
back.
working fine for me. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of our bigger clients, like we don't do this, but we're like, you should just go hire a PR agency and just get a bunch of like awesome links because like we're not going to do this. We don't have the process to do this, but it just makes sense because they have like a ton of money and they would get way better links than guest posts and stuff that we're giving them.
Yeah, let's see. If you really want to get links on like say DR90 or high DR80 sites, typically that comes
Exactly.
down
Yeah.
to PR, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, in ecom, I think that's probably the better sort of campaigns you can do. We just don't do that.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, I'm just conscious of your time, but I was going to ask one more question. If you had to give one piece of advice for building an agency, what would it be?
Probably up the pricing immediately because if they're making like five figures, they're probably just undercharging. So you can probably make way more money just by increasing the pricing immediately. And then, but it doesn't have to be. Just figure out, who your best customers are and get more of them, which I guess is a niche. But it seems to be a lot easier in terms of fulfillment and like you just do link build. It makes sense. It's always link build and it scales. You can do that. We do Shopify because we get a Shopify client. We know exactly how it works, and I can jump on a call with a Shopify business and just like, here's all the issues in your site without even having to look at the site. I just know what the issues are on the site because every Shopify site has the same issues. So I don't have to check it. And then our process when we sign a client is like literally hand over to the team and they run through the process because it's the same thing every time. So it's just infinitely more scalable. And it's also easier from a sales perspective too, because when you're able to jump on those calls and just say, like you would say, we just do link build. And then I would say, oh, you're on Shopify. Have you seen this, this, and this, and this? Because I know what Shopify is. I know how it works. So it just makes it easier. So, I mean, two main things probably you're at that level is probably, yeah, just up your pricing. It's almost definitely too low. And then figure out who the best customers are and target more of them essentially. And then probably if you're at that level, you're probably doing everything yourself. Are we talking 5 figures a month or 5 figures a year? I don't,
Per year. Per year.
but yeah, okay. So yeah, you probably don't have enough money to hire anyone yet. But when you get a few more clients, I would look into, for me personally, I think the first hire should be either, for me, it was an account manager. So talk to the clients because I hate that part and I'm not good at it. So I was like, I'm going to offload this immediately, or an SEO person. And an SEO person for me would be someone that's kind of generalized and they can kind of just manage the overall service and they might not be amazing at every part of it, but they can kind of basically manage it and outsource to different freelancers that do different parts of it.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks very much for jumping on the call and great chatting with you.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that? Let's say someone has a Shopify store or someone's interested just in contacting you.
Go to my agency site. I guess it's the only site I have online these days that people can contact me on. It's logix.com. It's LOGEIX.com.
Okay, perfect. Logix.com. All right, thanks so much.